Hello everyone, and welcome to a special Christmas episode of Retail Archaeology. Like a lot of people, I like to go out and look at Christmas lights this time of year, but something else I also like to do is to go check out the Christmas decorations at my local malls. In this episode, we'll check out 3 malls and see how they're doing during the Christmas season, and also to check out their Christmas decorations. We'll start with Chandler Fashion Center in Chandler, Arizona. This footage was recorded between 7:30 and 9 p.m. on a Sunday night. Malls usually have extended shopping hours during the holiday season, and I usually like to go closer to closing time because it tends to be a little less crowded. But I was really surprised to see that this mall was pretty busy even all the way up until closing time on a Sunday evening. I grew up in the 80s and 90s and went to the mall quite a bit during the holiday season, and seeing it all decorated for Christmas always puts me in a good mood. Seeing a mall actually fairly busy is pretty nostalgic as well, because when I was a kid the malls were always packed during this time of year. I did a video covering this place a few years ago, but here's a brief rundown on its history. It opened in October of 2001, it was developed by Westcor, and it's currently owned by Macerich. This mall is what I consider to be the last classic style mall built in the Phoenix area. And by that I mean an indoor mall with your standard department store anchors, a food court, stuff like that. There were other malls built in the Phoenix area after this one, but they're outdoor malls like SanTan Village or outlet malls like Phoenix Premium Outlets. It looks like Santa HQ is down there, so let's go downstairs and check it out since we're here to see Christmas stuff. Because it was later in the evening, Santa was off for the night, but that's okay, it makes it easier to film this and get a closer look at it without kids being all over the place. I have noticed in recent years though that there's almost as many adults as kids getting their pictures taken with Santa Claus. Santa HQ is surrounded by a bunch of nicely decorated but regular sized Christmas trees. I'm kinda used to these Santa Claus areas having at least one really big tree and then a bunch of smaller trees. Overall, I really like how they decorated this mall for Christmas, but the Santa area is a little disappointing. Here's something pretty neat though. This is a little K-truck that's been turned into a kiosk selling plants. And right behind it is a kiosk that you only see during Christmas, the ornament kiosk. Red, gold, and green go so good together. The Scheels here closed an hour before the mall did, but that was the first thing I checked out when I got here, so I got some footage of it as well. This location opened back in September, and it replaced the Nordstrom that was formerly in this anchor spot. And if you're not familiar with Scheels, it's a giant sporting goods, outdoor gear, camping, hunting, all that kind of stuff store. And it is huge. There's a giant Ferris wheel in the middle of it. And as I walked around in here and kind of started looking down from the second floor onto the first floor, it really started to look like a little miniature mall in here, down to the arcade that you can see there behind the Ferris wheel. This place really is amazing. I've never seen anything like it before. I did check this place out opening weekend, and I was blown away by how big it was and also how crowded it was. It looks pretty busy here right before they're getting ready to close, but that opening weekend was insane. People were packed in here shoulder to shoulder. And as we look down there, you can see what I mean about this place looking like a mall. It feels like they just attached another mall to Chandler Fashion Center. I have a lot of footage from my few visits to Scheels, so if you want to see a more in-depth video on them, let me know down in the comments below. There were several ornament kiosks here, but the one that I was most excited to see was the Hickory Farms kiosk. These are a big part of Christmas for me because you only see them at the mall during Christmas time, and I actually like these little Hickory Farms gift sets. I know it's not the greatest food in the world, but I love munching on them while playing a new video game on Christmas Day. I like to check out how the individual stores are decorated for Christmas as well, like this Pottery Barn. Although it looks like they didn't go too crazy this year, and I'm sure all of that stuff is super expensive. Overall, I'd give this mall a B+ for its Christmas decorations, because I guess that's what I'm doing in this video now. I really like all the decor here, except for the Santa Claus area. I have to deduct some points for that. The gate's coming down on the Victoria's Secret though, so it looks like it's closing time. Let's go check out our next mall. This is SanTan Village. an outdoor mall in Gilbert, Arizona. This place opened in October 2007. It was developed by Westcor and is owned by Macerich, just like the previous mall we looked at. I don't like outdoor malls like this as much as I like traditional indoor malls, but I wanted to check this one out because I had assumed since it was an outdoor mall they would have a lot of Christmas lights and things on the buildings. But that turned out to be a bad assumption because there really weren't any Christmas lights at all. They had some of these outdoor decorations that are lit up, but that was it. Those lights that you see strung across from building to building, those are there all year round, so that's not part of the Christmas decor. Here's a wooden Christmas display of a tree and some presents and pink flamingos? I'm not sure what those have to do with Christmas. I'm sure there's some story there behind those that I don't know. There were large parts of the mall that weren't decorated at all. This was filmed at 7 in the evening, about an hour before the mall closes, but I noticed a lot of stores closed before the actual mall did. Here's the big Christmas tree that they had. And I do like the way this tree is decorated. I like multicolored lights better than I like just plain white lights. And I like the star at the top of this one also. I overall just like it because it's very traditionally decorated and very colorful. This one tree though seems to be one of the few signs in this mall that it's actually Christmas time. Now this storefront has nothing to do with Christmas, I just filmed it because holy crap is it obnoxious. The other reason I came here was to try and film some fountain cam footage because I thought it would look cool with the Christmas lights, but the main fountain in the middle was turned off. And of course there's no Christmas lights. There were a few small fountains still running though, so here's the little bit of fountain cam footage I was able to get. I'm giving the Christmas decorations here a C-. It barely feels like Christmas in here. The tree is pretty nice, but there's a lot of missed opportunities for things like Christmas lights. Also, I didn't see a spot for a mall Santa, which was weird. Let's go back to a more traditional indoor mall. This is Scottsdale Fashion Square, the Phoenix area's luxury mall. It's also the oldest mall we'll be taking a look at. It opened in 1961, and just like the last two malls, it was developed by Westcor and is currently owned by Macerich. It's also a massive mall. It's 3 floors. The last time I was here, they were in the middle of renovating one of the wings, and it looks like they're still finishing up a little bit of that work. This footage was filmed on a Sunday afternoon a few weeks before Christmas, and it looks like they're doing pretty well, although this mall is always busy. I like the strands of Christmas lights that they've hung from the ceiling, but it is really hard to actually see them during the day because of the massive amount of sunlight that comes through the glass ceilings. Of the 3 malls we've looked at, this one seemed to have the most storefronts that were actually decorated for Christmas, like this Tory Burch store. I really like that with the gold trim. They set up the mall Santa area down in the middle of the food court, which actually makes for some really great shots like this one. Really gives you a sense of how big this mall really is. Their mall Santa area is simple, but it is really nicely decorated. I like the big trees and lots of lights. This is one of my favorite shots from this visit, is this perfect mall at Christmas shot. This is exactly what a mall should look like during Christmas time. Walking around this mall is always an interesting experience because there's a lot of stores in here that I would never shop at. Like this Prada store, for example. I like the display that they've done here with the Christmas balls, but who has Prada purse money right now? And there is a lot of stores here that you don't see in other malls in the Phoenix area. I think Scottsdale Fashion Square wins the award for most Christmas trees throughout the mall because there are several, and they're not all the same either, which is nice. I like these ones down on the first floor, but the tree toppers look like IKEA light fixtures. Now that we're down on the first floor, we can get a closer look at the Christmas trees down here. And I'm not crazy, right? That's an IKEA light fixture up there on the top of the Christmas tree. And here's a closer look at the mall Santa area, and as you can see, Santa has just finished up with his break and is going to take a seat there and start taking pictures again. I was kind of surprised that even though the mall was really busy, there never really was much of a line for pictures with Santa. When I was a kid, even when Santa was on break, there would still be a huge line wrapped around the Mall Santa area. I guess that's good that there's no line wrapped around here though, because we can get a closer look at these really big trees. These are beautiful. Man, I really do love the mall at Christmas time. You see what I mean though? There's a lot of people stopping to look at Santa Claus, but really no line for pictures. I think overall I would give this mall an A for their Christmas decor. It definitely felt like Christmas time in here, although it is a little uncomfortable to shop in a mall with stores that you really can't afford to go into, the kind that have bouncers at the front door like this one. But I think that's where we're going to wrap up our look at the Christmas decorations in this mall, although let's go ahead and head on out through the Dillards because I want to have the last retail archaeology video of the year to have some liminal department store vibes. After spending a few hours in a really crowded mall, it was nice to head out through a nice and empty department store. This Dillard's might be the least busy thing at Scottsdale Fashion Square. I always like leaving a mall through a Dillard's if they have a nice one because it's like walking through a little miniature time warp into a 90s luxury department store. Since we are getting towards the end of the video here, I want to take a moment to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. This time of year is always my favorite because I get some time off from work, and I hope you're able to get some time off from work too and spend time with friends and family. This will be the last episode of Retail Archaeology for 2023, but I'm already working on the next few videos for 2024. This is where we're going to wrap up this special Christmas episode of Retail Archaeology. As always everyone, thanks for watching and I'll see you next year. Want to see your name here? Head on over to patreon.com/retailarchaeology to find out how you can help support the channel. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this special Christmas episode of Retail Archaeology. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and also make sure to follow at the social media links down there because that's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the Retail Archaeology channel.